Hello everyone! So, about a year ago, I released a couple of LEGO stop motions featuring the Saturn Sandworm from Beetlejuice. They were both very popular, and in fact one of my viewers actually left a comment suggesting that I should do a behind-the-scenes thing. Well, I'm happy to oblige. I know it's been a little while since that comment first was posted, but I'm finally ready to introduce you to the star of the show, the Saturn Sandworm. Here he is. So yeah, behind the scenes, how I made the Saturn Sandworm and how I animated him. So in creating the Saturn Sandworm, that was a bit tricky because I also had to make him posable for stop motion animation. So how do I accomplish that? Well, I decided first up to look up stuff that other people had done first, not just people who'd done their own custom Saturn Sandworms, but also people who'd done their own versions of the Sandworm from Dune. And it was one specific Sandworm from Dune that someone did that inspired me to give me an idea for how to do the Sandworm. So the body is made up of these little bits right here, these little bits. They're joined together by ball and socket joint. And then, of course, I did a little tail thing here at the end. And for the head, for the inside, for the smaller mouth on the inside, I did turn to the LEGO Dimensions Sandworm as a basis for how to design the jaw. But for the bigger head, I wanted it to be actually functional. So I had to use my own imagination. The jaw on the bigger head, of course, is pre-existing, but for the top piece, which of course needed some eyes, I had to think outside the box, and I used quite a few pieces to build my own larger headpiece. It's probably not very stable, but it works. So it makes a functional jaw. The effect of which that is, if you remove the smaller head right here, you then can close it. Admittedly, the smaller head is only joined to the rest of the body by this little bit, which means it's very easy to simply pull it off. But actually in stop motion animation, this made it very easy for me to pull the head off and then animate it to roar or whatever, and then put it back on without putting too much stress that would cause the sandworm to collapse. Also, it allowed me to do that shot where the sandworm rises up out of the sand, and then it opens its mouth to reveal the smaller head inside. So what I did actually for that was a special camera trick in which the head was tilted down to face the camera, and then I slowly began to open the mouth, and by the time so that people could actually see what was in there, the mouth had opened up so big that I could actually place the smaller head inside to create the illusion of the head emerging out from the big head. And of course, all this was animated on the special sets that I created. Using a base like this, I was able to build the sets, first with a platform for the main characters in the foreground, and then walls in the background to represent the dunes and all those red rock arches that extend out of the sand and stuff. In between all these different walls and stuff, of course, were empty areas where I could put a stand like this, onto which I could place my sandworm so I could have him poking up out of the sand. Basically, to make him rise out of the sand, all I did was just put this guy's head on the stand, add a little bit to the stand, make it rise up a little more, and then once it was high enough, I would take a bit off the stand, and then put this bit on right here, and then put the head on top of that. Build it up a little more, take a bit off, put another thing on, until eventually you got the whole sandworm rising up out of the sand on this. Now, initially, animating the sandworm rising up for the initial shot that I filmed was pretty tricky. It was very jerky the first time I filmed it, and part of that was because that was when I was still animating it on 2s. That is to say, it was running at 24 frames a second, but I was just shooting one picture for every 2 frames, so it was actually 12 pictures for every second of footage. But it was just not, it didn't look as good as I wanted it, so I decided to reshoot it, and the finished product, as it turned out, actually, the initial shot of the sandworm rising up out of the sand, that's actually running at 48 frames a second. I really could not believe that I actually managed to get to that level of stop motion, of crisp, fluid stop motion movement. But from that point on, that set a new bar for my stop motion animation, because after that I could not go back to doing just 12 frames a second for the rest and just have one 48 frame a second moment in that whole thing. So, but of course 48 frames a second, that for the whole thing would have been just ludicrous. So I decided to just go for 24 frames a second for the rest of it. And from that point on, I have since been doing 24 frames a second as the standard for my stop motion animation, which is why I haven't really been doing much on that front in recent times, because it takes longer to animate now. So yeah, I think that's it for how I animated this little guy right here. Oh, and also, I'll be releasing a live action short film called Strokes of Life. It's actually what I've been doing for my directing class finals in college. So if you wanted to know what I've been doing for the last couple months, go check that out. And of course, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, or whatever. And I'll see you later. Take care.